Disney rise above Netflix in the streaming wars? I would like to offer you my conclusion at the beginning of the webinar. Essentially, Netflix has already emerged as the winner in the first phase of the streaming wars, leading in terms of subscriber number, profit margin, and market share. However, when considering connected TV advertising and live sports in the streaming landscape, Disney currently has the upper hand. Disney has the largest market share in terms of connected TV advertising and has a better live sports roadmap relative to Netflix. Having said that, if investor likes video streaming exposure, I don't reckon having Netflix alone in the portfolio is good enough. Probably a better investment approach is having these two companies, Disney and Netflix, in one's portfolio. There you have it. Over the next 30 minutes, I will dive deeply into these companies and share more about the investment thesis and the risks associated with investing in them. Let me go through the disclaimer first. The presentation is provided to you for education and sharing purpose only and does not constitute to any form of advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance. Today, I will be talking about the shifting video streaming landscape, advertising, and live sports, which is not just about subscriber numbers nowadays, but also about the advertising and live sports. I will briefly discuss the competitors and explain to you why you should ignore most of them and focus on Disney and Netflix. Lastly, both Disney and Netflix have returned more than 20% this year. What are the potential support and resistance levels? Okay. Video streaming is an interesting industry with many players involved. There was a boom in this industry during the COVID-19 period. For example, I subscribed to about 15 different video streaming apps at one point during the COVID-19 period, but stopped subscribing to most of them afterward. After the COVID-19, some of the streaming companies suffered a dip in share price as investors thought that some of them had reached the peak in subscriber numbers. However, streaming companies like Netflix started cracking down on password sharing and hence unlocking some new subscribers. Now, they have also realized that subscription revenue alone has a limited total addressable market. So companies like Netflix started offering games based on their TV content IP. In addition, some companies started offering advertisement-supported tiers as well that could help reduce the churn rate. For example, some may think that $23 a month for Netflix is too expensive. So why not watch at a cheaper tier by subscribing to a $6 ad-supported tier? If you want to unsubscribe the $23 one, you can actually lower down to $6. Furthermore, companies like Amazon are making a big play for live sports, trying to secure exclusive rights to major sport tournaments. All in all, the existing movie and TV streaming subscription model probably has a limited total addressable market, but venturing into this advertising market and live sports helps expand the total addressable market. Now, let's talk about who the winners and losers are in this video streaming industry. Here are some of the top video streaming services in the US. I have listed down their parent company and the ticker code here as well. So if you are interested in any one of them, you could use the ticker codes to find them on our Tiger app. I think the first phase of the streaming war is over and the clear winner is Netflix. If you define the winners by the number of subscribers, then the clear winners are Netflix and Disney itself, which have 260 million subscribers and 225 million subscribers respectively. There are some smaller or legacy players like HBO Max, Paramount, Stars, and AMC. But I feel that their content offerings are too limited, and the subscriber growth over the years has been quite disappointing, especially considering Netflix releases maybe 5 to 6 different new shows every week and releases all the episodes in the entire season at one go. But other streaming companies only release 1 to 2 new shows per week and 1 new episode per week. It really makes you feel that other video streaming companies are not even trying to compete anymore. That makes you feel that Netflix is probably more worth the money. Their share price performance over the past few years has been poor as well. Thus, I don't think you should spend time looking into them. In the future, I think it's most likely that some of the streaming platforms will be rebundled together with Netflix, Disney, or Amazon Prime to survive. Similar to how the Singtel TV bundle works. I will spend more time talking about Netflix and Disney later, but let me look into some of the interesting players here. Let's talk about Peacock first. Peacock is interesting. Its focus is not only on TV content, but also includes live sports offerings such as Sunday night football, the EPL, and WWE. However, Peacock's revenue as a percentage of the total revenue of the mother company, Comcast, is probably less than 1% now. This is why I think that no investors are interested in investing in the parent company Comcast due to the video streaming business. Some investors may argue that Peacock actually owns 6% market share of the video streaming advertising revenue. However, I am not excited about that because similar to Paramount or Roku, which also have some notable market share in the advertising revenue, their limited subscriber numbers has been limiting their future growth. Okay, let's move on to Apple. Apple TV Plus offers high quality content, but its video library is not as extensive as some other streaming platforms like Disney Plus or Netflix. It does not aim to roll out a lot of TV shows every week. Instead, Apple TV Plus tries to ensure that once a TV series ends, like an 8-episode show concluding in 8 weeks, there is another high-quality 8-episode series to attract subscribers to stay subscribed for another 8 weeks. However, bear in mind that Apple is not taking Apple TV Plus seriously. They launched Apple TV Plus to increase user stickiness. Apple TV Plus is just part of their ecosystem that they do not particularly care if Apple TV Plus makes money or not. You can probably say the same thing about Amazon Prime Videos as well. Amazon Prime Video is just one component of the robust Amazon ecosystem. Okay, firstly, Amazon Prime does not publish subscriber numbers, but it's estimated that Amazon Prime has around 200 million users. Amazon Prime subscribers mainly subscribe to Prime membership to enjoy fast delivery service, exclusive deals on Amazon Shopping, and Prime Video itself is just one of the many benefits Prime membership offers. Even though Amazon has invested heavily in content and bought in live sports. Personally, I think you should like Amazon due to his market-leading positions in US e-commerce and AWS business, but not necessarily the streaming business. As for YouTube, it's estimated that there are about 100 million YouTube Premium subscribers and 2.9 billion monthly active users. However, like Amazon, you are not able to know how much operating profit is generated from the YouTube Premium. But YouTube's advertising business accounts for roughly 10% of the total revenue. Alphabet, Google, after all, is still an advertising play, with Google advertising accounting for 75% of the total revenue. I think you should like Alphabet mainly due to its advertising revenue, but not the YouTube revenue itself. Roku is quite interesting. It's a small device that you connect to your TV to stream various online content that make your old TV smarter. Amazon Fire Stick and Google Chromecast TV are technically the same type of device like Roku. However, Roku has been struggling to turn a profit over the years, and the ARPU has declined by 4% in 2023. I guess overall the total addressable market for these smart TV devices is not huge in the first place. Roku needs to keep growing the overseas presence to maintain top-line revenue growth. However, I always have significant concerns about its long-term profitability. All in all, I like Netflix, Disney, Amazon, Alphabet, and Apple in this list for different reasons. But if you are looking to gain video streaming exposure, the top choices are still Netflix and Disney. Netflix streaming business accounts for more than 90% of its total revenue, while Disney streaming business accounts for around 30% of the total revenue. Let's look at the TV and connected TV advertising spending in the US. The red bar itself represents TV advertising spending, which currently has a larger market share relative to the connected TV advertising spending represented by the black bar. TV ad spending is expected to be around 60 million this year, while connected TV advertising spending is projected to be around 30 billion. It's estimated that advertisers will spend more on connected TV relative to TV advertising spending in the future. It's not surprising considering the drastic decline in the average time spent watching TV, while connected TV usage is on the rise. However, I believe the research conducted in October 2023 by eMarketer may not have fully taken into account for the significant changes in live sports in recent months. The shift of live sports to connected TV platforms has speed up the rate of the cord cutting. 43% of cable subscribers say that the key reason they would not drop their cable subscription, their cable TV subscription, is because they cannot live without sports. But nowadays, live sports are moving into connected TV, are moving online. According to eMarketer, Netflix advertising revenue is expected to surpass Disney advertising revenue in 2024. Netflix advertising revenue is projected to reach 1 billion, while Disney Plus is expected to be around 900 million in 2024. However, in a separate research by Bloomberg Intelligence, we can see that Disney total advertising revenue is expected to reach about 4.3 billion, larger than Netflix 1.4 billion in 2024, because this research takes into account not only Disney Plus, but also advertising revenue from Hulu and ESPN. Amazon Prime Videos and YouTube are also significant players, with their advertising revenue expected to reach 4 billion and 3.5 billion respectively in 2024. Basically, Netflix is a bit late into the TV advertising market compared to the other players. However, because Netflix has the largest number of subscribers at 260 million, the potential advertising revenue could be substantial if they can convert 10% to 20% of the subscribers into an ad-supported tier. Currently, Netflix has around 23 million ad-supported users. So even though it holds about 2.4% market share in terms of the connected TV advertising revenue, is expected to grow stronger in the coming years. Disney now has the largest market share at 14% in terms of advertising revenue. Netflix, Disney, and Amazon Prime may be able to capture advertising revenue from smaller players like Paramount, Roku, and Peacock in the future. Other than advertising revenue, live sports is the next frontier in the streaming industry. We are seeing increasing spending by different streaming platforms to secure live sports rights. Last year, they spent about 8.5 billion. Here is a breakdown of US sports rights. It can be observed that Disney and Fox spent the most in the past to secure sports rights. Netflix is somewhat late into in entering the live sports arena. Notable live sports Netflix has secured includes WWE starting in 2025 and the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul boxing match in July 2024. On the other hand, Disney has secured the right to NFL, MLB, and NBA. Currently, ESPN, which is owned by Disney, is partnering with Fox and Warner Bros. Discovery to launch a new streaming sports platform by end of this year, which will include NFL, NHL, MLB, NBA, and college sports. Collectively, this will encompass about 55% of the US sports rights. Having said that, Disney probably has a better sports roadmap. So Disney versus Netflix, which one do I prefer? At this stage, I would much prefer Netflix. The main reason is the number of subscribers. Basically, Disney subscriber count has been hovering around 220 million for the past 7 quarters, whereas Netflix has increased from 220 million to 260 million during the same period. If I were to look into the direct-to-consumer segment for both Disney and Netflix, which are the streaming business for them, we could see that Disney's DTC growth wasn't that exciting. In 2023, the revenue for DTC only grew by 12%. The revenue is about 35% lower than Netflix. Additionally, Disney has not managed to turn its streaming business profitable. Disney operating income for streaming business is still negative at 2.6 billion in 2023. Although the loss is about 35% lower than in 2022 itself. In contrast, Netflix operating income increased by 23% in 2023. Disney operating margin is still negative at about 12% last year, whereas Netflix operating margin is about 20% itself. Suffice to say that the first phase of the streaming war is probably over and Netflix emerged as the better streaming stock. Now let's talk about Netflix. I think most streaming video subscribers would prefer Netflix because of the massive TV and movie library. And Netflix maybe have found the secret sauce to creating hit content compared to other streamers. And Netflix say that they will spend approximately 17 billion in 2024, which is about $4 billion more than 2023 in creating content. So the traditional wisdom is that if you spend more on content, you will have a higher chance of getting a hit series and attracting new subscribers and reduce the churn rate. But Disney Plus is expected to spend lesser in content in order to reach profitability. So Disney may further lose subscribers since they raise subscription prices, but cutting their streaming content offering spending itself. Some investors may worry about the increasing content spend by Netflix. However, the correct way to assess the content spend is by looking at the cash content to amortize ratio itself. Essentially, the lower the ratio, the better. This suggests that Netflix is effectively spreading out the costs of producing or acquiring content over time. The ratio is quite high at 1.4 times to 1.6 times between 2016 and 2019 as the company was building out its studio and local production facilities. Now that the heavy initial cash-intensive spending is over, the ratio has dropped to 0.9 times last year. So we probably could expect a lower ratio in coming years as well. Netflix has the strongest pricing power among all video streaming companies. Netflix's past pricing strategies include, firstly, they replace the lowest tier with an ad-supported tier by forcing you to watch advertisement if you want the cheapest tier. Secondly, they increase the pricing for the standard and premium tiers. Thirdly, they crack down on password sharing. Now, sharing your password with someone outside your household incurs a cost of $8 each. Lastly, I believe that if Netflix continue to see that the growth in ad-supported tier continue to have increased subscribers numbers, they will likely to increase the price for this ad-supported tier as well. All in all, the increase in revenue and subscriber numbers that we are seeing here are mainly attributed to advertising revenue, password crackdown, and price increases. Now, let's look at the revenue and operating income for Netflix. Both revenue and operating income growth experience a re-acceleration accelerations itself. So in the latest quarter, year-over-year revenue growth was 12%, while year-over-year operating income growth reached an impressive 172% year-on-year. The question here is whether the increase in revenue and operating income growth is sustainable. Okay, the operating margin is the strongest among other players. The operating margin in the latest quarter was 16.94%, while the full year 2023 operating margin was 20.6%. The average number of subscribers in the latest quarter was 253 million. The average revenue per membership, basically is ARPU, was $11.6. Again, subscriber numbers and ARPU are the highest in the industry. I want to talk a bit on the technical analysis. The current price is $618.39. There would be a strong resistance level at $678.26, which is around the all-time high here. The Fibonacci expansion also suggests that the entire bull run could go as high as 818.63. So you might want to hang on a little bit longer on Netflix itself if you have been investing. Okay, now let's talk about Disney. Disney has always been one of my favorite stocks. I always reckon that it has some of the best entertainment IPs in the world. However, Disney was late to enter the video streaming world itself. And I think that there is always some conflict between its theater business, the movie business, and the streaming business. For example, if a Disney movie in theaters does not seem interesting enough to the audience, to the viewers, the said audience would rather wait a few months until it is released on Disney Plus and to watch it at a cheaper price. However, the streaming business generated from Disney Plus or Hulu itself are not profitable enough to cover the lost revenue from the theater business. Additionally, some viewers may perceive that Disney has a woke culture, has a woke agenda in some of the movies itself. But luckily, the CEO, Bob Iger, recently said that he wants the content creators at Disney to entertain first. It's not about the messengers itself. If we were to look at the earnings in the latest quarter, we could see that there is 0% year-on-year revenue growth. However, the operating income increased by 27% year-on-year. This suggests to you that even though there is no top-line revenue growth, Disney managed to be more profitable through cost-cutting measures. So the company cut thousands of jobs last year. There was also a writer's strike last year as well that caused Disney to delay some of the movie and streaming content, which ultimately helped Disney to be more profitable. However, ESPN in this sport category is not profitable, and the streaming business under entertainment itself is also not profitable either. The bump in operating income was largely contributed by theme parks and linear TV. The overall profit margin was decent at about 16.5%. but mainly contributed by theme parks. At the moment, you can think of Disney as a business that is mainly supported by theme parks and linear TV, which is the cable TV itself. However, it is impossible for Disney to build a theme park every other year. So, and fewer people are watching cable TV nowadays. So the long-term growth factors for Disney is still the video streaming business, which is not doing well at the moment. And let's focus on the entertainment segment for now. The entertainment segment consists of linear TV, which is cable TV, streaming business, and the theater business. So cable TV is a sunset business, but it's still profitable due to its advertising revenue, although it is shrinking over time. In the latest quarter, its operating income growth for cable TV fell by 7% year over year. On the other hand, streaming and theater business are loss-making, as we see over here. But the CEO, Bob Iger, said that streaming business will turn profitable by third quarter this year. The operating margin for streaming business is negative 2.5% in the latest quarter, which is a good improvement from negative 8.3% 1 quarter ago. Bear in mind that the streaming business under entertainment here consists of Hulu, Hotstar, and Disney Plus. But if you were to look at the entire streaming business, which include ESPN Plus and Disney Plus and Hulu, then the operating margin is even worse at around negative 3.6%. However, the loss has significantly improved. Disney managed to cut the operating loss by about 79% in the latest quarter to just negative 216 million itself year on year. In terms of subscriber numbers, Disney Plus has been slowly losing subscribers. It fell from 164 million in the fourth quarter 2022 to 149 million in the first quarter 2024. The decline itself is mainly attributed to the loss in subscribers number in the Disney Plus and Hotstar bundle, which fell from 61 million to 38 million from the fourth quarter 2022 to the first quarter 2024. But I actually see that this is a positive development for Disney. The main reason is Disney Hotstar bundle is super cheap at just $1.28 in terms of average monthly revenue per paid subscriber, which is ARPU. So I think Disney deliberately drove down the subscriber numbers here because it is just not profitable compared to all other packages itself. The regular Disney Plus package is priced at $6.84, which is significantly higher than the $1.28 Disney Plus Hotstar bundle itself. Fortunately for Disney, Netflix is not competing on price by cutting the subscription prices. Instead, Netflix is actually raising the price, which gives Disney the opportunity to do the same. So Disney Plus is still relatively a cheaper streaming option than Netflix. On average, Netflix ARPU is around $11.6, whereas Disney Plus is around $6.84, suggesting there is massive room to grow the ARPU. But one key thing I dislike about Disney is the stagnant subscriber growth And you can also see that Disney Plus in the US and Canada region has remained stuck with 44 million to 46 million subscribers for many, many quarters now. So it's worrying. You may say the same thing for Netflix as well, because Netflix also encounters the same problem. Netflix encounters the same slow growth in the US and Canada as well. However, Netflix has 79 million subscribers in US and Canada, whereas Disney Plus is stuck with 46 million subscribers. So to me, you should not encounter the same slow growth number in the US, given that the subscriber base is still about 42% smaller than Netflix at the moment. I will quickly talk about the theater business. The studio entertainment business, which is included in the content sales and licensing, fell by 531 million in terms of operating income in 2023, which is a 150% decrease in the operating income itself. If we were to look at the quarterly earnings, it's also not looking so good. The revenue growth fell by 38%, operating loss increased more than 100% itself year on year. Bear in mind that the theater business, the movie business, was quite profitable in the past, contributing to about 2 point something billion to 3 point something billion in terms of operating income in 2017, 2018, and 2019 itself. But in recent years, Disney box office performance has been lackluster, which generated about 4.8 billion in movie ticket sales last year, behind Universal Studios, which generated around 4.9 billion last year. So one of the best years for Disney at the box office was 2019, during which 7 of the Disney movies make it to the top 10 grossing movies that year and contributed to about 77% of the top 10 movie ticket sales. However, we have noticed that Disney has exploited its own IPs by forcefully creating too many superheroes movies, Star Wars movies, and live action remakes of the Disney cartoons. But I still believe that Disney is one of the best bets if you are betting on a comeback of the movie theater business, judging by Disney's past success. Okay, let's look at technical analysis very quickly. Disney stock recently found major support at the Fibonacci retracement level 61.8% at around $85, and now has rebounded to $113. Based on Fibonacci retracement, the next resistance level is $130, followed by $158. The immediate support is $108, and the crucial support remains $85. But I think that it's unlikely to go down to $85 again, given that investors are betting that the streaming business will be profitable by third quarter this year. Lastly, let me share my conclusion with you. Here, I'd like to show you the yearly return, annualized return, and risk for Netflix, Disney, S&P 500, and Nasdaq 100. A few key takeaways here. Firstly, Netflix typically outperform in terms of the yearly return category, meaning to say Netflix usually provided the best yearly return for the past 20 years among all the stocks or index mentioned here. Secondly, in terms of the annualized return, Netflix underperformed S&P 500, underperformed Nasdaq 100 in the 3-year and 5-year annualized return, but outperformed in terms of the 10-year, 15-year, and 20-year annualized return. For example, Netflix provided 27% 20-year annualized return, whereas Disney S&P 500 and Nasdaq 100 only provided 8%, 10%, and 14% respectively during the same period. Thirdly, investing in Netflix is riskier. Netflix has significantly higher maximum drawdown and higher standard deviation compared to the rest itself. So based on risk and reward basis, it looks like Netflix is a better choice compared to Disney. Netflix is probably still the best story in the streaming industry. Netflix leads by subscribers number, in engagement, in revenue, and profit margins. My main concern for Netflix is how much upside remains for the password crackdown. Because Netflix has been cracking down on password sharing since 2022, now in more than 100 other countries itself. So seriously, how much upside is there? Other than that, I believe Netflix will gain substantial market share in advertising. I am not convinced that live sports is Netflix focus now, as they are not spending enough compared to other players. As for Disney, I reckon that it is one of the highest quality companies in the media industry. Investors are currently pushing Disney stock up, maybe because they believe that the streaming segment will turn profitable by third quarter this year, according to Bob Iger. Disney is the strongest player in connected TV advertising and has a better live sports roadmap compared to other players. However, if you have been investing in Disney long enough, you would probably notice that Bob Iger, the CEO, is not exactly a good executor, as evidenced by his late entries to the video streaming industry. To me, it seems like Disney is focusing on cutting losses to return to profitability rather than growing the subscriber numbers or the revenue itself. There are also a lot of uncertainties surrounding Disney, such as who will succeed Bob Iger as the next CEO and the ongoing Disney lawsuit against the Florida governor as well. So these uncertainties may explain why Disney is more than 40% lower than its all-time high, while Netflix is trading maybe 11% below its all-time high at the moment. So all in all, I believe that Netflix has a better chance in continuing to succeed in the video streaming business. However, Disney may have a good comeback if it can improve its profitability across various sectors such as theater business, streaming, advertising revenue, and live sports. Having said that, if investor likes video streaming exposure, I would say that having Netflix alone in the portfolio may not be good enough. Probably a better investment approach is having these two companies, Disney and Netflix, in one's portfolio. For an aggressive pure stock portfolio, allocating 5 to 10% in the media stocks may be sufficient, but you should probably have a higher weight in Netflix and a lower weight in Disney. For example, a portfolio might have a 5% allocation to Netflix and a 3% allocation to Disney itself. Okay, let's go into the Q&A session. So if you have any questions, please type it out and I will try to answer all of them. Okay, I see there's no question for me. Thank you, everyone. I wish you happy trading, happy investment. And then I shall see you again in April. Okay, thank you, everyone. See you soon. Bye.